So whatever your issue is here tonight, whether it's something we're going to be talking about here or whether it's something you have personally that you need addressed, we want to do that. So please make sure that you see somebody and give us your name if we need it before we go. I'm going to speak for a few minutes just because, we have these town halls basically every few months, and generally as we're sort of entering budget season, we'll have another series in a few months. But the idea is to sort of give you an idea of where our promises that we have been making are in terms of where we stand on those. We want to hear from you in terms of where we haven't done as much as we can or where you think we can do better. Obviously, we want to hear your budget priorities. But I'm going to spend a few minutes just going through a few items, and then I'm going to turn the rest of the evening over to you so that you can have the time to ask or rant or whatever it is you want to do for the rest of the evening. Does that sound good? All right. So if you are working full-time right now and still doing the math at the kitchen table, rent, groceries, insurance, childcare, deciding what gets pushed to the next month, that's not just the cost of living. Of course, that's stress. That's uncertainty, and it tells us that we have work to do. And we know there's work to do. I'm not going to stand up here tonight and tell you there's not work to do. For me, affordability is not a slogan. It's the test of whether Jacksonville works for people to keep this city running. Tonight is not about asking for trust. It is about earning it. And hopefully you have seen that from me over these last few years. I'll show you what we promised, what we've delivered, what we still need to do, and what comes next. And if we claim progress, you should be able to see that for yourself. Jacksonville is growing fast, and growth brings opportunity, but it also brings a lot of uncertainty. And I know some people are very uncomfortable with that. These town halls focus on what people experience every day. Housing costs, which I know has been listed as the number one issue for a lot of folks. Healthcare access, neighborhoods that waited too long for investment and infrastructure, struggling to keep pace. These challenges are connected. When rent rises, everything else tightens. When care is delayed, small problems become crises. When neighborhoods wait, opportunities slip away. So we're holding meetings across the city so residents don't have to travel far to be heard, because real solutions start with listening. Less lecturing, more listening. It feels like yesterday that I was just asking for your votes when I was running for this office. And nearly 3 years in, I want to do something simple but too rare in government. Say what we promised and what we have delivered. We promised to fight hunger, and today, partnerships across the city are helping deliver millions of meals every single year. We promised to tackle housing affordability, and we've approved thousands of units while helping families stay housed through rent relief and home ownership assistance. We promised better health access, and new health centers and expanded services are helping tens of thousands get care closer to home. We promised to invest in every neighborhood, and today nearly half of the road repairs are happening in communities that waited too long for the basics. An additional $100 million invested in council districts 8 through 10. And yes, thank you. And we promised accountability, and that's why we're here, to listen, answer questions, be measured by results. We've made progress, but the job is certainly far from finished, and we know that. Before I go further, I want to shout out these beautiful people up here standing. Can y'all stand up? This is our royal court here at Rains. We appreciate so much y'all being here tonight. I love the royal wave. Very good. Very nice. Thank you so much for being here. I love it when young people show up at these things. It's so wonderful. I think the last time we saw you, we were here celebrating the state championship, right? Yep, that was a fun day. More to come, I hope. So let's talk about accountability and transparency. City Hall plays a major role in how affordable and livable life feels, but government only works when people can see what it's doing. When systems are slow or confusing, they cost residents time and money and make people feel the system isn't built for them. I always say a confused mind says no. And a lot of times, if you're confused about something, you just don't engage. And that's what we don't want. So we want to make sure you're informed. We made performance public, tracking permitting timelines, infrastructure delivery, and housing progress through transparency dashboards and our State of Jax data initiative. If you're navigating permits or you're running a business, you should not need 10 phone calls to get answers. And if we fall short, you should see that too. Because accountability is not about good intentions, it's about measurable progress. If you can't measure it, it didn't happen. You've heard that, right? That's true. Public safety. Public safety starts with a simple promise. Everybody deserves to feel safe in their own neighborhood, no matter where they live, no matter the zip code. And we know that safety is not only about response times or arrests, it's also about the conditions that reduce crime. That means stable housing, access to jobs, mental health support, safe streets, and real opportunities for young people. That's why we've taken a two-track approach. First, we strengthened our first responder workforce by providing historic salary increases and restoring pension benefits that support the recruitment and retention of our firefighters and police officers. The truth is we can't deliver a safe city without capacity, and so we've made it much easier for them to recruit and retain. Second, through Journey Forward, we're building a coordinated, community-led approach that brings together law enforcement, community organizations, service providers, and residents, because lasting safety is built with communities, not just enforced upon them. And I want to highlight an important factor that affects safety directly, even if differently: fear. Right now, too many of our residents, especially immigrants and those perceived to be immigrants, are living with real fear. It has come to our attention that many are foregoing doctor's visits or even grocery store trips. Children are missing school. When families are afraid to report crimes, seek help, or show up in public life, trust in our system of government erodes, and that makes everybody less safe. I also want to clarify how our local government works here in Jacksonville. I've been hearing from a lot of you wondering why I don't weigh in more, why I don't talk more or do more in these times with ICE and all the things that go with that. I want you to understand that the mayor and the sheriff are independently elected in our consolidated city and county government. Unlike mayors in many other cities, I do not have authority over day-to-day law enforcement operations or control how JSO interacts with federal agencies like ICE or Border Patrol. JSO and ICE have had an agreement for more than 15 years. But I do have a responsibility, indeed a platform, to speak to our values and the kind of city we all want. And I will continue to use that voice to say this very clearly. We can be a nation of laws and a nation of compassion. And law and order has to work on both sides. We must uphold the Constitution, and we must uphold due process. We keep our community safe by treating all people with dignity. Success is not measured only in statistics. It's measured by whether families feel safe walking home, whether parents feel comfortable letting their kids play outside, and whether every resident feels they belong in this city that we all share and love. The fight against hunger. Let's talk a little bit about that. Too many Jacksonville children still face food insecurity, and hunger shows up everywhere, in classrooms, at home, and how kids start their day. So we focused on access, bringing food closer to families, strengthening partnerships with food banks, and closing gaps when school meals are not available. This is real progress, but the goal is simple. No child in Jacksonville should ever go to bed hungry, and we'll keep scaling what works until that becomes reality. On housing affordability, housing sits at the center of today's affordability squeeze. I know I've heard from a lot of you about that. We have been working overtime to try to fix that. When families are housing cost burdened, and about half of our families are, one setback can mean eviction or homelessness. That's why we've invested in housing solutions that build supply, support home ownership, and keep people housed. Thousands of new units are built or approved, more families are staying in their homes, and more residents now have pathways to ownership. But housing remains our biggest challenge. The next phase is about speed and scale. moving projects from approval to doors families can walk through. That's why we've made it such a priority to make sure we are trying to speed up all the processes that are involved in that. Healthcare access is also a part of affordability. If you can't make an appointment, you miss work, and care is delayed, costs rise, and families fall behind. For many residents, the challenge isn't just cost, it's whether there's even a front door to care. So we've expanded funding to increase access to health care, deploy mobile clinics, and strengthen the mental health response. We cannot fix the national system from City Hall, but we can ensure that more families receive help before problems become crises. Literacy shapes almost every outcome in a child's life. When children fall behind in reading, the effects follow them through school and into future job opportunities. Through River City Readers and the Mayor's Book Club, families have logged millions of minutes reading, library access is expanding, and more children are building reading habits before kindergarten. This is a long-term project, but we're already seeing great results. The goal is clear. Every child in every neighborhood enters school ready to read and succeed, because when our children succeed, Jacksonville succeeds. And we're already seeing those numbers. Very good. Small business. Small businesses are the backbone of Jacksonville's economy. Family businesses, veterans starting second careers, and entrepreneurs building opportunity in their own neighborhoods are all integral to our economic success. But many small businesses struggle to compete for large contracts or access the capital they need to grow. So we have strengthened our JSEB program, our Jacksonville Small and Emerging Business Program, helping more small businesses compete for city contracts and gain access to capital and training. Today, more contracts and purchase orders are reaching local small businesses, certification numbers continue to grow, and entrepreneurs are getting the support they need to succeed, because when small businesses grow, jobs grow, and opportunities stay local, and that's what we want. On infrastructure, growth is good, but only if the city keeps pace. When roads, sidewalks, bridges, and water systems fall behind, everybody pays through longer commutes, unsafe streets, and infrastructure failures that cost more later. So we've invested heavily in resurfacing roads, repairing and rebuilding new sidewalks, maintaining bridges, removing septic tanks, and upgrading water and stormwater systems. Importantly, we have increased the annual infrastructure investments, as I said earlier, in underserved neighborhoods from $15 million to $100 million, because safe streets and clean water should never depend on zip code. These projects may not always be visible. Thank you. Yep. These projects might not always be visible to you, but they matter every single day. And I actually did bring the receipts. I brought a whole list of all the projects that we've invested in. If anybody wants to see it, I won't go down the whole list, but I'll tell you I've got it. And we are very intentional about continuing that work. Parks and public spaces, they aren't extras. They're part of health, belonging, and quality of life. That's why we have invested in parks across the city and along the riverfront. How many of you have actually been to the new riverfront parks? Anybody? Oh, okay, good. They're great, aren't they? That's why we really have been very intentional about investing in those, because we want you to be able to enjoy just those signature parks and all that they have to offer along our beautiful river. More improvements are underway, and maintenance remains a priority, because every neighborhood should feel that difference, not just read about it. What's that? Thank you. So let me just end with this. We have really made real progress, but families are still feeling pressure. Housing costs are rising too fast. Health access gaps remain. Food insecurity persists. Infrastructure needs more funding. And opportunity still depends too much on where you live. So here's what comes next. We are going to continue the work on attainable housing, ramping up those numbers as fast as we can go. Affordable health care, going to continue that work with our telehealth clinic, but also doing everything that we can to increase access to affordable care. Healthy food access. We have so many initiatives now on healthy food access, which will be expanded as we look at how our food system actually works in Jacksonville and how we can make that better. Continued infrastructure investment and a renewed focus on our underserved neighborhoods. Here's what I would ask of you tonight, and this is why I'm here. Stay engaged, please. Hold my administration and my friends at the City Council accountable. Tell us what you're seeing where you live, because that's how we get better. You're the ones that are on the ground seeing all this, and we need to hear it. And I know sometimes it's a real burden to show up at a City Council meeting if you even have the opportunity to do that with your schedules. So that's what this is, your opportunity to tell us what's important to you in terms of our city budget, where you think we could be doing better, what you'd like to see with certain parks. I believe in this city, and I believe that Jacksonville can become everything we want it to be if we face hard truths and we move forward together. So we got to stay focused and keep delivering and keep listening. And I do believe we can do all this together. So thank you for being here. I appreciate your time tonight. And I would love for you to, I don't think you need to line up at the microphone unless you feel like you need to. We've got over an hour and 10 minutes to answer questions tonight. There's not that many people here. If you feel like you need to line up, you can. But if you have a question or a comment or something you think we need to know about or focus on in the upcoming budget process, let me just tell you what's going to happen with the budget, okay? I know it feels like we're always in budget season. We just passed the budget in September. But next year's budget is going through, all the priorities are getting loaded in, over these next couple months. And then we go through a process of the mayor's budget review. The budget gets presented in July, and then it gets finalized in September. So really, the feedback that you give us now will help us to craft where we spend our money, where we spend your money. So if there are specific budget items you think we need to be taking a look at, please let us know. And as I said, if there's anything in particular that you have that's more of a personal neighborhood item, please see Melissa or Tracy or Phil or somebody from the staff to make sure we get your information, because we probably won't be able to solve that here tonight. But we want to make sure we do solve it. And we've got a pretty good record of trying to do that. So whoever wants to ask the first question, come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenya Johnson.
I'm sorry, what was your first name?
Kenya.
Kenya, thank you.
Yes, Johnson. I have a question relating to housing. I was just wondering, do you all have a list of resources for families who are having a hard time paying their rent?
We do. Where is that on the website, Josh? Do you want to come up and talk about that? This is Joshua Hicks. He is the first ever Director of Affordable Housing in Jacksonville, Florida, under this administration.
Thank you, Mayor. How are you? So you can go to jacksonville.gov/housing, and it lists all of our programs, from our down payment assistance program to our UTIP program if you're trying to do sewer to septic conversion, et cetera. Rental assistance is actually done by social services in the Parks and Rec department. So I'll give you my card, and if you need more information, I can get you in touch with Janetta Moore. She's the social services chief who runs our rental assistance program. Now, we do have an eviction diversion program, rental assistance and eviction diversion. So if anyone in the community is facing an eviction, we have a program that the mayor funded through the transition budget. Councilman Carlucci also supported it. $2 million that is going to help prevent evictions. And just since this program started 2 years ago, we've already been able, by the time it ends in September, we're going to help 600 households stay in their homes because of this program. And we anticipate trying to fund this program further in the future. So we do have a rental assistance and eviction diversion program. It's not run by housing. It's run by JALA, a United Way, and Jewish families. It's a program that goes through the court process to make sure you have every single piece of information you need, that if you are evicted, if the landlord doesn't want to work with you, et cetera, that we're finding you housing on the back end so that you're not left on the street. But we're also working with that landlord to try to back pay all that rent so that you can stay in your house, because as the mayor said, it's important that we keep people housed while we're also building more housing supply in our community. So I'll give you my card, and then I'll get you all that information. And you can go to 211 if you ever need information. You can dial 211 or go to 211.org. And they'll be able to provide you information on rental assistance programs from smaller nonprofits, organizations specifically in your community that's focused on certain zip codes and certain areas. We have a ton of nonprofits in Jacksonville, and a lot of them are doing work like that, eviction diversion, rental assistance work to keep people housed or to help you're a month behind on your rent, help you pay that rent. 211, if you call them, they can provide some additional resources there. JALA is Jacksonville Area Legal Aid. So they'll provide you attorneys to help walk you through that court process. They'll also help work with the landlords with their attorneys to try to back pay that rent. Let's say you had a death in the family, something that caused you lost your job for 3 weeks and you fell behind and that landlord just won't work with you. They'll help to try to connect you with them, to work with them, to back pay that rent so you stay in that place of residence. But like I said, if you do go through the eviction process, they make sure that that eviction doesn't stick to your record and that you can find housing afterwards so that you're moving on in life. Thank you, Mayor.
Josh is fantastic. He knows everything. Although he talks to me in all those acronyms too, and I always have to say, hang on, go back up. Which one is that? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor. My name is Sonara White, and this is my granddaughter, Gabriella White.
Hi, Gabriella.
I serviced the community for over 30 years. I have land on the north side of town that I'm willing to build for our homeless and our veterans. I like to know that you have grants available for myself to cover the cost because, construction is very high. A single mom on one income, but I like to service our community. I brought my surveys in to provide to you all to see the land, the size, or what have you.
Okay.
But I'm interested in building affordable housing. I just need assistance.
Josh, can you give her one of your cards as well, and we can connect? We'll have to bring you into the office and talk.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You absolutely can. Bye, Gabriella. Very nice to meet you.
All right.
Josh is a popular dude tonight. I knew that was going to be the case. See,
Yeah.
Nina, it's not always you. Nina's here with Public Works, so she'll be the other popular person tonight. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks again for coming out, Mayor Donna Deegan.
Hey, good to see you.
Let's please give her a hand. Let's please do that.
Oh, so nice to see you. How are you?
Good. Orlando Spencer. I'm a Northside product, proud. I love Jacksonville. So we appreciate what you all are doing. I got two things. So as a developer, we developed probably over 50 projects throughout the city. I would like you all to possibly look at allocating a piece of the budget when it comes to developing new construction. A lot of our trees in the city have grown over time, lots and lots of growth. So a lot of time those trunks, those roots, they bust up the sidewalk,
yeah.
very badly. And just repairing in front of the 25, 30 feet of new construction, that's really not good enough for the block. So these roots might have continuous problems as it goes throughout the sidewalk, and it would be nice if it could just be level. So we can obviously look at different areas. If it's some kind of way you all could put some kind of rubric around how that could be looked at, because the developer obviously is used to picking up the costs in front of the property, but if there are other blighted homes on the block, then it still would be a better presentation if it's a nice flow. Okay, so.
Who should we connect him with?
I can talk with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Melissa, is there any way we can kill these lights? I think people can see me, and that's about to blind me. I can't see anybody I'm talking to. Y'all can see me, right? You don't need those lights on me, do you? You can tell me if you can't, but I can't see one person standing down here, and I hate that.
Okay. All right. And the other thing was for my nonprofit hat as the president for the First Coast Association of Realtors. We focus on democracy and housing and hitting many of those points up there that you brought out. So we are in the communities helping our underserved neighborhoods to get more affordable housing. So in order for us to do that efficiently daily throughout the week, we would like you all to consider thinking about a budget for us to actually have a headquarters so we can help continue to educate the youth as they are now, the importance of home ownership and how to own keys for themselves, and then also how to maximize the opportunities for density where it's appropriate.
So what kind of space do you need? Because I wonder if there's not some group you could partner with in your area.
To serve
What kind of space? I mean, how many people are we talking about?
at a time when we would have an event such as these where everybody comes and it's collective thinking, we probably want to have space for 100 people. But throughout day-to-day, a lot of one-on-ones and small groups where we have think tanks and we're able to bring in people like Councilwoman, who's done a fantastic job on the north side, as well as Mr. Gaffney. So to have these brilliant minds come in and help us just continue to inspire the youth and those who are aspiring homeowners, and we got to provide some sort of counseling because many people in our community lose property and lose homes.
Okay.
So those sorts of things.
All right. I appreciate your comments, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Jacoby Pittman, thank you so much for being here, Councilwoman Jacoby Pittman. What do we call your district, Jacoby? The mega district. The mega district. Okay.
Mic check. Hey, Mayor Deegan, how you doing?
Good. How are you? What's your name?
My name's Dana Michelle, and I'm your Northside neighbor, but I'm not speaking first. I wanted to warm the mic up for my mentee, Gabriel. He's a little nervous, and he's going to ask a question or make a comment for the town hall.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
I actually have a gift for you if you don't mind taking me here.
Okay. Sure.
Like she said, my name is Gabriel Prince. I'm 18.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to start off by saying thank you, Mayor, for choosing Range High School as the venue for this town hall. Range is more than a school. It is a pillar of Black excellence on Jacksonville's north side. And holding this conversation here honors that legacy. I also want to thank you for making this the first budget town hall schedule, especially during the Black History Month. That choice sends a meaningful message to the north side matters and is showing that we are being seen.
Well, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. And absolutely, you're right. It is a Center for Black Excellence and has been for a long, long time. So thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Deegan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Stewart, and I'm also representing Northside Pride. So I want to talk tonight not from a place of need for the Northside, but starting with our progress and power. So we are not coming to this budget meeting empty-handed. We are already demonstrating a return on investment through neighbor-led initiatives, such as the 32209 experience, which promotes mental wellness through community conversations. The Riverview Neighborhood Oyster Fest, which draws over 300 neighbors together and will be returning for its second year on April 18th. Northside's Pride Business Support Program, which helps entrepreneurs grow and stay rooted in the neighborhood. The Northside Pride mural at Fosse, a visual statement of pride, identity, and belonging. We have Cafe Resistance, which offers free Black history classes, free guitar lessons that invest in our youth and preserve cultural knowledge while creating pathways into the creative economy. These efforts prove that when neighbors are resourced, we deliver results. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Okay, now it's my turn. If I could approach, I'd like to put something in your hand while I make.
Okay. Thank you.
So last time we were together, Mayor Deegan, and
Yes,
I'll restate my name.
I remember.
Yes, I'm Dana Michelle, your Northside neighbor. Hey, Northside, crowd check, crowd check. When I say Northside, you say pride, Northside. Okay, we in the building. So I was talking to you about tourism dollars and how we could reinvest tourism dollars, not just in the city as a whole, but into communities of color. And so I want to talk about that. She talked about a lot of progress earlier, and I want to carry on the conversation to talk about gaps. So real gaps still remain, although as Northsiders, we made a lot of progress, and we are very proud of the work that we've done. But we still need more grocery stores, we need more fresh food access, and I'm wondering how we can get our local urban farmers and homesteaders like Farmer James at Therapeutic Nursery and Gardens on Moncrief in the bottom. How can we get people like him to partner with local grocery stores so we can provide more fresh food in our neighborhood? How can we expand small business support and technical assistance? I've worked with community members to write grants, and a lot of times they're trying to run their business, promote their business and trying to complete grants for facade improvements, the technical assistance is not readily available. So we'd like to ask for that.
That should be. That really should be. If you have not connected with Gregory Grant from Jacksonville Small and Emerging Businesses, I mean, we have so many programs
He
available
needs more
right now.
soldiers. We all get told to go to Gregory Grant, and all of us are going to Gregory Grant.
Well, but I
he
mean,
needs
there should be resources for every one of those things that you just mentioned. And if you don't know about those, we need to connect you to those.
Like literal people who can help us write grants, literal people who can help us increase our skill set so that we can articulate what our business is needed.
Yes.
And then the last thing I'll say is positioning the Northside as a competitive, attractive neighborhood. And this is for our council people as well as the mayor's office. We need to attract people across all income levels so that they can spend to attract the businesses that will help make our neighborhoods compete. We want the North Side to advance at the same pace as our neighboring communities like downtown, Springfield, Riverside, Avondale. We want to keep up with that pace. So back to the tourism. We know that cultural tourism is an economic driver, so we also want the city to intentionally direct tourism dollars into Black and brown neighborhoods to preserve places like William Marion Rains, to preserve historical icons like Mount Ararat Baptist Church, to preserve iconic spaces like Mount Olive, I saw Elder Harrison here, to preserve parks like Emmett Reed. Those are all our historical and cultural landmarks. That looks like also auditing the Tourism Development Council to make sure that they are following policies that say you don't just fund events, but you also fund cultural landmarks. We have a lot of churches, parks, and even places like this school that would benefit from the dollars from the TDC. And I will also ask that Visit Jacksonville is audited because, as I mentioned before when we spoke, the marketing materials are still not equitable and reflective of our city. They produced another magazine last year, and I didn't blow up the map this time, but they still did not include the North Side. They still have not included North Side businesses and businesses of color in their marketing materials. And that continues to remind people where not to go. So we want tourists and we want people who are coming here to visit our city to experience our neighborhood as well. And I'll wrap with this. We encourage inclusion of Northside cultural events like the Bob Hayes Track Meet, which historically was here on the North Side at Rains. And we want businesses in the Visit Jacksonville promotionals. We want dedicated funding to heritage tourism to restore our museums, the Durkeeville Historical Society Museum, to restore our historic cemeteries, cultural festivals, and creative placemaking, and support our neighborhood-based tours like the Northside Pride Urban Hike in historic Durkeeville and cultural corridors. When visitors spend money in our neighborhoods, Grand Park, Riverview, Sherwood, Moncrief, Durkeeville, it boosts the local cultural economy and keeps dollars circulating locally.
That's good stuff.
Amen.
Amen. No, that's good stuff. Thank you. I love your passion for that. I will tell you, in terms of the urban farming, I don't know if you've been following the event that what do we call that? I know it's State of the Food. Yes. So we are gathering all the people who are involved in that work. Have been involved in that work for years to try to come up with a food system in our city. It's not an issue of do we have enough food. We don't have a good system. And we have to create that system. And so I understand that. We all know it's a big job, but we've got a lot of people working on it, and I really do think we're going to make progress on that. I promise you I will personally have a conversation with TDC about...
And that particular program, it would be helpful to have visibility of who the farmers are, Black and brown farmers. And I know we have Eartha's Farmer Market.
There's an opportunity for everybody to be involved in that, I believe. Who knows, is there anybody here that knows about that?
Okay, because if we could host some of those maybe in a smaller form at the actual sites where these farmers are working, these homesteaders are working, and Latrina Dowdell with 32209 Experience, if we could have more partnerships that give them more visibility.
The effort is to bring all those voices into the room. That's how we come up with a good system. So that's a process that is right now in full force. So make sure you get connected to that.
Okay, we're ready for more.
Okay.
Ready for more visibility.
What do you need, Phil?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to, I didn't see Pat. Pat, can you come give an update on the, yes.
It was so nice walking around speaking to the neighbors and the friends and people I work with, people who supports the mayor and the administration and support the North Side in Jacksonville. How you doing? So, in 2018, a task force was formed, and that task force said Jacksonville should become a U.S. Civil Rights Trail city. That was a great recommendation from the president of the council at that time. In 2022, that was an inaugural civil rights conference. They were still wondering, why isn't Jacksonville a U.S. Civil Rights Trail city? And then the mayor, Donna Deegan, was elected. And then the transition team made a recommendation for Jacksonville to become a U.S. Civil Rights Trail city. We're going to have a special announcement at the end of the month dealing with tourism, dealing with those things that you talked about Jacksonville becoming a U.S. Civil Rights Trail city.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. And I have been in communications with Ms. Pat, and I would love to have been on that task force and have worked alongside her with that. We've been doing these tours for over a year, going on 2 years now, in Durkeeville, talking about the historic landmarks along Myrtle Avenue, the Emerald Trail, and the map that I handed you, Mayor Deegan, which I have enough for everybody in the room. It pinpoints 15 different locations on the north side that may or may not be on your civil rights trail.
Well, you know what? We're just, there's nothing to say that we can't add more.
Sure, but I want to make sure the connection is made today because I don't want to have to come to your next town hall and bring it up again. So thank you, Ms. Pat. I would love to be a part of that task force, and I still want accountability for Visit Jacksonville and the TDC because it shouldn't have to be a separate task force for a civil rights trail when we already have a board, a TDC, and Visit Jacksonville doing the same thing.
You know what? I do think, though, for something like this, because there's so much involved in what we want to do to celebrate it and to market, I think it helps to have a particular task force for this, and Pat's done an amazing job of making all that happen, so I'm really proud and happy that she's been able to get all that done. It's a lot of work. And Pat, she seems like somebody that might match your energy a little bit, so you might want to connect with her. She's a little spitfire. She's this second time she's taken me to task in one of these things. So
with love, Mayor Deegan, thank you.
I feel the love. I do. Thank you. Thank you. Love always holds accountable. I got it. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Deegan.
Good evening.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'll just have a couple of questions if I could. The first one is, I'm sure you'll agree that mental health needs are rising, especially in underserved areas. And so is there anything that's already been identified in the budget or is planned for the budget that will help strengthen the partnership between city resources and community social service providers to ensure mental health services are accessible to everyone, even if you don't have health insurance?
Tracy, do you want to talk about this at all?
Hi, Tracy Polson, and even though I don't serve in this role in the administration, I'm a licensed mental health professional. And I think one thing that's really important for folks to know, I know it's not primarily about the budget, but the mayor proposes a budget, and then it goes through a process where city council approves or doesn't approve the budget. We will advocate for these kinds of programs, but I think it's important that folks know that the Department of Social Services in the city of Jacksonville, their budget hasn't increased much over the last 15 years. So we can advocate for these sorts of things, but it's really important that you all make your voices heard, not just to the mayor and not just to your city council representative, as in council member Pittman, but all 19 of the folks on the council. And we will do our best to advocate for those programs.
So there's a lot of pushback from the council on these kind of programs and funding them, is that what you're saying?
The budget in general, yes.
Okay.
If you remember last year, they voted to decrease the millage, which then limits the number of dollars we have to work with.
Yeah, that was a mystery all its own.
Was it though? Go ahead. It's okay.
Sorry. That's a whole nother conversation for another night.
It is.
The second question I had kind of dovetails into this whole affordability and providing housing, but in the area of town that we live in, I've noticed that there's been this inordinate amount of destruction of trees. and just huge numbers of acres being flattened. And in some cases, they'll build apartments or townhomes or whatever. But my question is there any department in the city of Jacksonville that does an environmental impact study? Because what we're seeing is an emergence of wild animals that we would never see under normal conditions. And the reason, I think, is because we're destroying their habitats.
Yeah, that continues to be a struggle and a balance, honestly. There is, obviously and absolutely, and there are sensitive lands that we have committed not to build on, which somehow seem to still make their way into those situations. And, what I have tried to do is to put more people on our planning commission that would take those things into account before those things get approved. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but I agree with you. We're clear cutting a lot of land that we probably should not be clear cutting. And I have only so much I can do about that. I have appointments on some boards that I can make. I'm not the only one. But at the end of the day, we have to, I believe, do more to protect those lands that are especially the ones that are most vulnerable on wetlands, areas that are environmentally sensitive. And I think in some cases we've done somewhat better with that, but not nearly well enough. We've got a ton of land in this city that people can build on. And we should be making sure that we're not building on those places that are environmentally sensitive. But you're right, it's a problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Deegan, and thank you so much for having a town hall. We really appreciate your accessibility to us. My name's Leah Farrell, and I have some questions around energy for you. So firstly, it's come to our attention that JEA is moving forward with a combined cycle plant on the north side. We were really excited to see previously that there was an open IRP process with the last IRP that they had put together that specifically said that by the 2030s they would have 30% of their energy portfolio be composed of solar energy. Unfortunately, this time around, the IRP process is closed to our understanding, and solar has not been incorporated to the extent at all that we were anticipating or hopeful for. We're concerned about pollution, rising energy costs, and specifically with gas, so much volatility just because of its susceptibility to like global conditions. And the last thing as well with the gas plant is that we were told that kind of as a trade-off for building this gas plant, that the coal plants that were in operation would be decommissioned, but we've learned now that those will no longer be decommissioned. So we're concerned about pollution and rising costs of energy, especially with so many of us being on fixed incomes, younger people that are struggling with employment, et cetera. Yep. And so the question that I have for you is, can we count on you to support solutions for residents facing increasing utility bills, like restoring such as energy efficiency efforts and restoring net metering to expand our capacity for solar energy? And will you speak to JEA to open the door for this process to be transparent and for us to really take a step back and reevaluate our incorporation of renewables in this process instead of rushing into a gas plant that's already over budget and so far behind schedule as well?
Listen, I appreciate every one of the things that you just said, now I do think there is still a schedule to take the coal plant offline. Isn't that right? That is still scheduled, right? I haven't heard that was not going to.
And I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's
from
okay.
our conversations, if originally we were told that they wouldn't be, and then the schedule that was previously put out has been like elongated, so nothing's happening in the time.
I promise you I'll double check on that, because I did think that was scheduled to come offline, and that is really important. Obviously, the gas is better than the coal. That's about the best I can say about that, right? But at the end of the day, some of this has to do with national policy. You know, obviously you have now an administration that does not value clean energy. Right, does not value clean energy to the point where there are no longer the incentives for solar, and nor are there state laws now make it nearly impossible to do anything on that front. So it's become much harder for an entity like JEA to do what they were on track to do. So it's not just as simple as JEA making a different decision. Mm-hmm. It's now complying with both state laws and frankly a federal system that no longer makes it financially feasible to do some of those things. So my frustrations are your frustrations, but I can't put all the blame on JEA. I have absolutely made my feelings clear on those issues. I think we should still push forward with as much solar as we can possibly do. And I guess my role in that would be to continue to try to place board members when I have that opportunity who have those same beliefs. But at the end of the day, this isn't just as simple as missing a mark because they wanted to miss a mark. There are economics that are involved because of all the levers that are being pulled and laws that are being passed in different places that aren't Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
But yes, I have voiced those concerns, and I'll continue to do so.
Okay, and if you don't mind, I just have a follow-up question as well. But specifically, I understand, there's a lot of big players in this, and we're in a political landscape that's very contentious. Just JEA being a municipal utility and it working for the city, at the very least, would you be open to perhaps, like, even if we were to have kind of like a town hall style with, say, Vicky KV or members of JEA to answer the public's questions about this gas plant?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Vicky and I have been friends for many years. I've known her since I was a kid. That's Jacksonville for you, right?
Yeah, it's a small town, but really big.
Yeah, I didn't even realize she was the Vicky that I knew until she came into the position, and then I went, wow, I've known you since high school. But I think she wants to do the right things. I think there's a balance there for affordability. Obviously, they don't want to increase people's bills by crazy amounts either. I'm very grateful we have a local utility as opposed to what was coming down the pike before, yes. Right? So with everything, there's a trade-off. But I agree, we've got to push harder, and we've got to make sure that we come closer to meeting those energy goals. It's important for our city.
Of course.
I believe that she is trying her best to do the right things, but I would be more than happy to do that if she wanted to do it, and we could. Again, JEA, while a municipal utility, is not under my...
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know that, right? They're independent of me.
Yes.
But I do make board appointments to that organization, as does the governor.
Yes, and just speaking of the board, I know we got an email from them last year, just with her salary increase of $300,000. And just for us, and I can speak for the whole room, but none of us have boards that are able to vote us like salary increases to that extent. So I'm just concerned about rising costs.
Well, let me say this about that.
Yes.
I know there are a lot of people that express concern about those things. When they go and they take a look at salaries for organizations of that size across the country, they take an average of what people make, and I don't think what she is being paid is out of line with what people in her position are paid. I'm sure it's frustrating for a lot of folks to see.
Yeah, that aren't making $700.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it is. I'm sure it's an enormous job, and if you want the best and brightest in some of these positions, then you pay what the market pays. That's what that organization decided to do, and I don't take a lot of exception to that. So I think that's easy. I think that's an easy target, but I don't think that's where the problem is. That's just my opinion. Okay. I will absolutely accept that's how you feel about it.
Well, thank you so much for answering our questions, and again, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Mayor, I want to thank you for having this town hall and for all the town halls that you have across the city.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. You've heard a lot of solutions come to the microphone, and I think we should take more advantage of that. So I request that you and your team begin to look at publicly noticed meetings a little differently.
Okay.
The give and take that we're experiencing now, I think, should be the give and take that we definitely need to experience more at city council meetings and at meetings that are noticed by city council members. In general, what happens during those meetings is that you have your little card, you come up and say your remarks. Sometimes people are listening, sometimes they're not. Here, we have the rapt attention of the audience, the staff, and the mayor. And that is the type of relationship that I think that all of us really want to see. A lot of the solutions are in the minds of the people out there in the audience. They just don't have the ability to constructively give you those solutions and answers. Oftentimes we end up coming up here when we're very frustrated and angry. However, you notice that there hasn't been a lot of anger displayed as of yet. And I think it's because of the
There's always time.
It's because of the way you have things set up. And I'm asking that we start to have publicly noticed meetings that include not only the mayor's staff.
That must be my cue.
Not only the mayor's staff, but also city council members, so that we can begin to have the conversations around budget that will hopefully result in the budget being passed as the mayor's office places it in to the mix for city council to actually vote on.
Well, listen, I'd love that. I mean, I'd love it. I'd love it. You know, and I think some city council members have their own, you know, meetings like this. I know Jacoby does. I know Matt does.
I'm actually asking for something different. I'm asking for city council members, you know, at least 10 of the 19 to be present along with staff, and for us to have a dialogue, especially as it relates to certain line items in the budget. And what I'm saying is, let's not be afraid. We can do this in a civil way, just like this is happening in a civil fashion. And thank you so much. There are ways.
Thank you. I think that's a great idea.
Facilitator.
I'll pass that along to my colleagues on the city council. I'm sure Matt and Jacoby will as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be done.
Good afternoon, Mayor Deegan.
Good afternoon.
My name is Tiva Monroe Presley, and I am the Executive Director of the King Presley Community Development Group. I'm also a real estate broker. I have been a realtor in the state of Florida for the past 27 years. And one of the things that I would like for you to know this evening is that my phone is not only ringing from buyers and potential sellers regarding home purchases and sales, but is ringing more often now for people asking about initiatives and programs and or funding that can assist them with building or repairing their home from the previous storms. So what I have done, I've taken the due diligence and the time, and I have found that there is still funding. There are millions of dollars available. So I do want the public to hear that tonight. That is set aside to assist us in the state of Florida. I am hosting a repair and rebuild workshop, which will be held at the Highlands Branch Library on February the 21st, which is Saturday, starting at 2:30 until 4. What I do want to convey that the funds are there, but there just is not enough of marketing and getting the information out. So I'm standing before you tonight letting you know that I am willing, I am ready to do what I can and partner with you, City Council, your office, and the team that is here tonight so that we can help our residents rebuild their homes from the storms. And this, the funds are can be dated back to 2023. So if
these are state funds we're
these
talking
are
about?
state funds.
Okay.
It's coming from the Florida Commerce, and I do have some information I can put in your hands
Great.
this evening. So if you can assist me and my organization with getting the information out, I want to do what I can.
Why don't you give
help.
that to Josh,
Okay,
if
Josh?
you can, and we will
Yes.
we will look at what we could
Okay.
do to put that information on the website and maybe send out some in our news blast or something like that, so
Wonderful.
people can know that you're doing that. We'd be happy to help with that.
Thank you. And if anyone would like information from me tonight, I'll be standing toward the front, and I'll be more than happy to give you some information.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate all your hard work. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is James Matchett. I advocate for everything north of downtown to the Nassau County line, from the east side to the west side, Baldwin. There's a lot of issues that we could speak to, but I'm not going to hog the mic, but I just want to bring a few points up. My question is symbolic assistance. You opened up talking about a $30 million park that was built downtown. Basically, it's going to serve those coming in visiting downtown. And it is nice, and it is deserving. Jacksonville boasts of two things that I want to talk about specifically. One, the largest geographical landmass, 870 square miles. We also want to say we have the largest park system. 410 parks in county. The parks in our neighborhood are merely playgrounds or under-supported, does not have those attractable entities. So then when you talk and question about it, because I've been on this for a while, they say, well, you got a regional park in Lonnie C. Miller. But compare Lonnie C. Miller to Fort Fun or some of the other parks on the south side and down out towards the beaches, it's willfully inadequate. And that's the best we have. So it seemed disingenuous that we could spend $30 million, soon to be $90 million, in 3 parks that's gonna be downtown, but there's no money for the parks in the neighborhood where our kids can go to. The other thing I wanna bring up quickly is infrastructure. Our infrastructure is struggling. We still have not realized consolidation of 1968. We still have not funded the projects from 1968, but we have money to fund other projects, new projects that skip the line. A classic example, Dunn Avenue. I know it's a state road, and I know I'm throwing a lot out of here, but I'm trying to be quick and concise to make a point. Dunn Avenue had traffic wrecks out of the wazoo. They saw a need for barriers. They put up temporary yellow cones that cost something to do when they could have easily went on ahead and put in the dividers that would have made that road nice. We get substandard stuff in our community. Symbolic.
Well, I'm gonna accept what you're saying and take that, and I'm not gonna argue that doesn't happen. Wait, let me just say one thing. Mm-hmm. Going from $15 million in infrastructure investment to $100 million in this area ain't nothing. And that's why I said I brought the whole list. So if you don't see it in every one of your neighborhoods or every one of the places you go, I accept that, and I know it's got to be better, and I prefaced it by saying we've got to do more. But in the entire time I have been in this office, I have taken every infrastructure project in 8, 9, and 10 and moved them to the top of the list, and they have been happening faster than any other place in this city. So it's not enough, but it is, but I have been extraordinarily intentional about making sure the investment in this community was ramped up in a big way. And so as I said when I stood up here, it's not enough, it needs to be better, it needs to be faster, and I agree, but it is happening, okay?
I give you credit for that. I'm not, and if the intent was, I say that you wasn't doing nothing.
No, I hear you. I want you to see the list.
Right.
But I'm just telling you, I accept everything you're saying. The disinvestment has been going on for so long.
Correct.
That it's going to take a long time to get it better.
Agree.
No question.
Agree.
Yeah.
I will leave with this. There was 2 ordinance that was going around, the missing middle.
Yes.
And recently I was sitting in a CPAC meeting where your office presented documentation on inviting investment to raise from medium density to high density, and most of that happened to be in that urban core that you just started. Matter of fact, I think all of that yellow was in those 3 districts that you said. However,
not all of it. No.
Well, most of it. You're right. I hate using all because it's
yes.
always
it's
that
okay.
exception.
I know because that's where you're focused on because of the CPAC, but it's not. It's all over the city.
I got it. That one that I seen looked at, and what I'm saying is that increase in density would be all right if we had the infrastructure to support what we got. So just merely increasing the density without increasing the infrastructure is going to make it harder on the people that's already sitting there. We have traffic calming situations. You know about the drainage. We have the sewer systems that's still going on. I'm just saying this is the pain. This is the pain that most people feel, and this is what most people are going to judge what this council, what the mayor, and what this administration done is that how they say, what have you done for me lately? And so all I'm saying is we appreciate your work. And nobody's saying that you're not doing the work. We're just trying to show you where our pain is.
That's why I'm here.
Our pain, that Donna spoke of, I brought that to the council about 18 months ago. And we was assured that this was going to be changed. And what she is saying is...
Which one? I'm sorry.
Dana. I said Donna, but Dana.
Okay. Gotcha.
Northside Pride.
Yeah. Okay.
Northside Pride. We have a lot of grassroots organizations trying to do the right thing. They just bumping up into opposition because everybody has their pet project, and then it leaves no room for growth, expansion, or they're not willing to share it with anybody other than themselves.
I appreciate you very much. Can we get the people that are here with some of these organizations, is there a way we can get together and talk about how we can sort of maximize your impact so that we get more of this information and we get more of these things on the radar?
Yes. So, hello, everyone. I'm Marsha Ray Wellington, Chair for the Riverview Collective Community Organization. And I myself, along with other organizations, we've actually been meeting with Resilient Reball. I don't know if you all have heard that term, but in our last stakeholder meeting, we had a room full of amazing grassroots organizations, and we had a list of solutions for all the things that we're all speaking to here. The challenge is connecting what we're doing with the city so that we can ensure that the work that we're doing and the money that's presently coming out of our, because I know what I pay in taxes, right? So I'm on the river, I'm on the waterfront. That's why I moved back to Riverview. The organization, we're doing a lot of projects around resiliency, sustainability, river health, so on and so forth. We've got Oyster Fest coming up. Please come out April 18th. And we hope you're going to come out too, Mayor. Again, Oyster Fest, where we're educating the community.
Send me an invitation.
Will do. Where we're educating the community on resiliency efforts and then the work that we're doing ourselves in the community. But again, we can do only so much. We definitely need to better partner with the city efforts so that we can make sure that we're all transparent. You know, the work that thank you so much. The efforts that we're putting in, we want to make sure it's being heard. But again, you know, and I know what all's being done, but we've got to see some evidence. You know, and that's what we're waiting on is that evidence. I know what I pay in property taxes, right? And that's coming out consistently. And so just as quick as I pay those taxes out, I look to see the return into my neighborhood.
Yeah. Can I talk a little bit about the Riverfront Park since that was brought up in terms of every one of my initiatives to bring all the things that we're bringing to downtown have to do with creating a better return on investment for this entire city. So we're talking about property taxes. I'm going to say again what I said to you in the last series of town halls. We have the lowest property taxes by far of any large city in the state of Florida. That doesn't help your bottom line in your household, but what I'm telling you is we spend less per resident in this city than most cities do. So everybody wants lower taxes, but they also want services. We have an enormous city, 900 square miles of city to provide infrastructure for. So as mayor, I look at our city and I look at all the cities that have been the most successful. And the ones that have been able to thrive are the ones who have created that heartbeat of the city in their downtown urban core. Those are the cities that end up having all the money to invest in the rest of the city. So we have neglected the downtown so badly over the last 30 years. And so my goal has been, let's create these places where people want to live, work, and play down here, where we can create more business, we can create more enterprise, we can get more people. That is what is going to create the income that will allow me to invest without raising everybody's taxes, because nobody wants that, so that we can invest in the rest of the city. The income has to come from someplace. There's got to be money from someplace to invest, and our best opportunity, just since we have opened those riverfront parks, we have had more, in one day alone, we had more than 30,000 people over there. I mean, it has been incredibly successful, but those people are spending money, they're coming. Do you see what I'm saying? It is extraordinarily important for you to understand that every lever we pull affects the next thing. And so what I'm looking at as mayor is, what can I do to make sure I can maximize that return on investment for you without making your life more difficult by asking you to spend more money.
Right.
So I know it's hard when you're not seeing that direct benefit yet, but these things, these things always take a while, but you're seeing it really start to pay dividends now. And hopefully what I have shown you, at the very least, with my intention and the way that I have spent money so far since I've been here, is that I am willing to invest over here and want to invest over here, and have continued to do that, even though it is not always going to be in things that you can immediately see at the moment. That is an investment that has not and would not have happened without our intentionally shifting that money over to this area of town. And so what I want to do with these groups is, I'd love to get all of you together so that we can meet with you and get, what are we not seeing? What is it that we need to increase the focus on? How can we do better than what we're doing? Because a lot of the things that are on this list are big infrastructure projects, but that may not be what you're talking about.
Correct.
So I really do want to understand, because I see your passion every time I come over here. You guys are just
and I'm
amazing.
going to tell you, I think the issue is, the decisions that's being made for our neighborhoods are not being made with the community members. So, there are decisions that's being made downtown and in places, and then we are informed what's going to happen when no one's had taken the time to talk to us about what it is that we want to see.
Let me just say this: you're right, but some of it is stuff that crumbling. Infrastructure that has to be fixed, roads that have to be fixed, sidewalks that have to be fixed, septic tanks that have to be removed. That's a lot of money, right? But it doesn't necessarily address some of the things that you're talking about. So maybe we can come up with a way that some of those things can be also included, without upending the major infrastructure projects that we feel like we need to get done over here. Because you're right. If we're gonna increase density, if we're gonna do all these other things, it starts with infrastructure. If we don't have the infrastructure, nothing else really matters. So we've got to continue down that path. But I want to hear from you where you think we're not getting it right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Deegan. My name is Lavoyus Partlow, and I resided on Myrtle Avenue, 1508 North Myrtle Avenue, for 40 years. So I had an opportunity to watch a neighborhood be destroyed, okay? Now, living on Myrtle Avenue, my last thing was the street. And I had been to city council, who knows how many times, about this hole in the street. And it got so bad that it shook my home. It shook my home to the degree that if I was sitting on the toilet, the water would splash my behind. Okay? Now, it was ridiculous. It was just a wonderful thing that I was able to move. Way out there by the airport is where they were building houses, okay? I did not want. If you live somewhere 40 years, you don't have any place, you don't have any thoughts of moving, because when I emptied out that house, I had a house full of junk. But point is, I lived there, I scuffled with this community and all that, but you talk about underserved. When they came to our community and they did this remediation, they really put a destruction on our community. I don't care if it was Brown's Dump, Fifth in Cleveland, or whatever. When they went into these neighborhoods, they dug up around the foundation of these homes. Okay? called in the process of remediation, which loosened everything up. They dug around the trees. The city has had to come out and remove trees from my property because they were hanging over the sidewalk, and I had to make a big stink, but I can't remember the guy's name. I probably got it wrote down somewhere. But anyway, I had to make a big stink because, as you can probably remember, that there was a young man walking down the street and a limb fell out of a tree and had disabled him. Okay, people don't know. But in fact, the point of my point is this. The inner city has been destroyed. The people that lived there, most of them are dead. All of the neighbors that I had, they're all dead, gone, okay? We had people that come, the children, they don't want these homes because they're old homes. And they're not in a motivating community anymore, you know? You don't have the homeowner who respected the properties. You have people coming down the street, especially the homeless. You ran them from downtown, you ran them into my neighborhood, okay? I've done the police calls and all those type of things. You could probably pull that crap up. But you destroy it, it was destroyed. And now you're talking about rebuilding. Can we rebuild some of the people that's been destroyed with the drugs and all that has been pushed into this community? Excuse me. No. But you know, I really don't get it. I bought some property out there in Moncrief Springs, which I thought was going to be a good idea. You know, they don't even have sewers out there. You know, the sewer line to hook up to the.
We're working on all that.
Yeah, but you've been working on it for 40 years, 50
Not me.
years.
I've been working on it for 3 years.
I don't know how long you've been here, but for all these years.
Listen, that's why I ran for mayor.
Okay.
That's why I ran for mayor.
Okay, I'm going to move on.
Because I got tired of things never getting done.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, like I said,
so you got to ask a question because I got several more people in line after you.
I want these people to be angry.
Well, that's fine. I appreciate that.
Okay.
But ask a question for me if you would.
Question. Can I get Pecan Park Road repaired?
Nina says yes. What's the schedule, Nina?
We have selected the consultant for that, so we're going to start design very shortly, and that project is funded, and we will be moving forward.
Okay. You'll be two tires. Okay. You'll be 2 tires.
Oh, me what? What are you?
2 tires. 2 tires on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. 2 run flats. How about that? Okay. My next question is, how do you get these people from these different agencies or organizations to call you back? I went downtown to the historical preservation place and had a long conversation with the lady that was sitting there. She was very nice. Okay? I would like a response. She'll know who I am. Okay? Because I have this 99-year-old house that's sitting there on Myrtle Avenue that I can't live in because it splashes my behind. I want these sewer lines, this big hole in the street that keeps collapsing every year. And when can we get that done? When can we get this Myrtle Avenue done? Kings Road and Myrtle Avenue. Right now, it's collapsing. Okay? When can we get Myrtle Avenue done? Who's that person again? You part of roads? How about Myrtle Avenue? Kings Road in Myrtle, check that. 5th in Myrtle, check that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you're angry.
Mayor, you're going to like me, all right?
I like you all.
Hey, no, I'm talking about I'm special.
Okay,
Hey,
I believe you. What's your name?
yeah, I'm Charles Frederick Walden Sr.
Okay, Charles.
Okay, I saw you at your event.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
I was an exhibitor.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. I recognized you, but you passed me so fast I couldn't say nothing else. But that's why I'm glad to be able to talk to you tonight.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna give you this. What's in my hand?
I love that y'all came with homework tonight.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Oh, very nice. Oh, wow. Yeah.
this is what I'm about. I went to William Raines High School. I graduated in 1968. All right? I played football. I was the captain of the tennis team, baseball, and swimming. I swim for FAMU. I got a jacket for it. I got a jacket for it. And I played with, what that boy name? He in the Hall of Fame.
What were you?
The tall dude.
What were you exhibiting at the race?
Oil, essential oil.
Essential oils. Okay.
For pain.
Gotcha.
You know, and this is my mother was the first executive for the YWCA. She came.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so she stopped the she stopped the segregation. You know, and for over 20 years. That's the second picture where she had worked for 20 years raising money. One of her best friends was the wife of the owner of a grocery store, the big one. Winn-Dixie.
Oh, Winn-Dixie.
Back in the day,
okay.
The guy that owned that, his wife was her best friend, and because they gave her a tough job at downtown, and she needed that young lady, you know, and she got her. That's how she got all that money and raised it and all that, man. It was beautiful.
That's awesome.
All right. So the thing is, the YWCA. Anybody remember them? YW, not the YM.
Yeah, sure.
Y'all sure? Why nobody ain't talking about they not here no more, and ain't nobody asking them to come back but me. But I sent them a letter and they ain't sent it back. But they didn't, you know, they ain't, so why? Why didn't they respond? I want you to offer them something they can't refuse to get them back. The YWCA was the greatest thing for women that was ever created. They come from England, and the YMCA was the same. They didn't start in America, they started over in England. But when they came here...
So you don't like everybody all mingled together is the deal, huh?
Huh?
You're not happy with the Y. You just want everybody...
But now the thing is, when they absorbed the integration, they wanted the YMCA wanted the YWCA to stand behind them, not side by side.
I see.
They weren't gonna have that. Those women, I mean, it wasn't just for women, it was for families. It was for, I mean, they built hospitals like Brewster. And I work for Mayo Clinic because I'm like you, I'm a cancer survivor. So they pay me just to be, they wanna follow me until I die, so they wanna see, you know.
They want to follow all of us, brother. That's all. That's why we got to go there all the time.
Hey, but it's good for me because, you know, I get paid, you know. I started off as
You get paid for that? Okay, I'm going to have to check on that.
I started off as a volunteer.
I've just willingly given up all my DNA over the years for them to study.
I'm starting off as a volunteer.
That's great.
And I was so good doing that the guy was writing the grants, he started paying me, you know?
That's very good. I love that. I love that.
So
that's awesome.
But the biggest thing, and I already see the future in this. If you are able to bring the YWCA back here in Jacksonville, I will. You bring them back to Jacksonville, you will be the first lady president in the United States.
Okay.
If you can do that. If you can do that. Now, that's a hard one. But if you can do it.
Is that something that you think I desire to be?
No, but you won't have a choice because you're just like me. You're just like me. You're a survivor.
I'm going to stay right here.
No, but they're not going to let you. You know, they're not going to let you. You're going to be that good. You are that good, but you're going to be great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Because you're going to do this. You're going to bring that Y back.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the support. Appreciate that.
Good evening, Matt.
Good evening.
My name is Stephanie Oglesby.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hi. I have 2 items I'd like to address with you.
Okay. Make sure you get close to the mic because I'm having tough hearing you.
Okay. You indicated that you're cleaning up downtown, which is great. But in the meantime, those items downtown is being moved to the north side. The Salisbury Center is being put on the north side. You already know the morgue is on the north side. You bringing the jail to the north side.
I don't know where the jail's going. I have no
To the
idea where
north
the jail's
side.
going. I can tell you we have no idea where the jail's going right now. We haven't even selected the company that's gonna offer the different sites. So I have no idea where the jail's going.
Okay. And then we have the homeless on the north side. I'm sure they everywhere else. My question to you is, when is enough going to be enough?
I hear
We care
you.
about our community.
I get it.
And everything is being dumped on the north side.
Listen, I hear that frustration. I do, and that's why, when we started the whole discussion, it's an important thing to talk about. I think that there are vast amounts of land on the north and west sides of Jacksonville that haven't been built. I think, which is why sometimes you hear them discussed when big projects are discussed like that. But in terms of there's no intention to push the homeless more towards the north side, not for me. Our PATH team works on homelessness all over the city. We are, in terms of the Sulzbacher Center, what they are building out there is an opportunity for people not only to be housed, but to learn a trade and to become productive citizens of this city. That is going to be an absolutely astoundingly wonderful program they have over there. That's going to be a wonderful program.
But it's on the north side.
And the Mayo Clinic is setting up in there as well. That's another jewel for the community. When we and I know y'all are not happy about the medical examiner's office, but that JSEB that we put out there, that center to train small and emerging businesses that we put out there, is another wonderful resource for this community. So we are. I will just say from my position, I think we are trying to be intentional about bringing good things to the north side. I understand that historically that has not been the case. The medical examiner's office was approved before my time in office, but I will tell you, as I've said, and I understand the feelings about it. I think they run deep for a variety of reasons, and I'm not going to argue with them. But I will tell you that is not something that for me I would mind having in my community. For me,
yeah, I can move it.
But I understand, and you know what? I wouldn't mind. But at the end of the day, I understand the feelings about it, and I understand historically the feelings. Just know that it has never been the intention nor the action of this administration to put anything on the north side other than to provide more business opportunity and more ability to have a better quality of life. That's what we have tried heavily to focus on. And I will take again. I will take all that. And I know we have to do better, and we hopefully by having these meetings and gathering people's voices and doing all the things that we're doing, we are showing our heart to do better. It is not going to all happen overnight, but I do think we are moving in the right direction. I do believe that, or at least we're trying very hard. So I want you guys to continue to be a part of that and let us know what more we need to do. And I appreciate your comments. I can tell how frustrated you are.
I am. And the second item I have is in reference to the affordable housing. I understand that's a great endeavor, all good. However, you're giving them incentive to go ahead and house, 10% of people that they are affected by giving them affordable housing? Instead of keep giving them incentive, why don't you have them build a community center where they putting the apartment buildings at? Have them engage with partner with another company and do something for the north side. Only thing they doing is building up these townhouses, these apartments, and then you don't see them anymore. But yet we're still giving them incentives to build those apartments.
Well, I mean, do they have to be mutually exclusive? I mean, don't y'all want more of that?
Not if they're not going to give anything to the community, no. They need to give back.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. As far as a community center is concerned, I know we've had those discussions. I don't know where that is at the moment because the area that we were talking about putting the community center was not available. We certainly have money allocated to rebuild the library, which could include a community center portion in it. But I don't know where those discussions are, but I know that is a desire.
Right, I'm just asking that instead of the city giving these companies incentive, the companies need to give back as well.
We do need more attainable housing for people. We absolutely need that. But I agree with you. There needs to be plans. There need to be community enhancements when they do those things. I do agree with that 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You are the last speaker of the evening. No pressure.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
What's your name?
My name Cameron.
Cameron, nice to meet you.
Cameron Marshall. Yeah. Good evening. First I want to thank you for coming and coming to our community where we need you the most. And I'm a senior in high school.
Oh, great.
Represent a lot of young people. I do
Thank
a lot
you.
of work with a lot of young people, along with Miss
Y'all, he's a senior in high school, and he's here at our town hall meeting. I love that.
But one of the challenges I experienced with working with different people, a lot of different young people around the city is young people, it's a lot of decisions being made in the city about young people when it comes to schools, workforce programs, community development, but it's no input from young people who are directly affected. Teenagers, college students, young entrepreneurs, we need to have invested interest in the community because we're the ones living these decisions and helping shape what Jacksonville becomes. And young people also need more economic opportunities and more exposure and real career pathways in entrepreneurship, and especially during the summertime when students are looking for more ways to be productive. So my question to you, the mayor, how can young people have a stronger seat at the table when decisions are being made right now about our future directly?
I want you to connect with Pat right there.
I'm already connected with
Are
Ms.
you
Pat.
connected with Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so you do know we do have those opportunities to connect in the city of
It's not-
Jacksonville.
well, what I'm saying is it's a lot of opportunities in Jacksonville, and it's a lot of resources, but how can y'all make decisions about our future, but we're not having a seat at that table directly? We got to have invested interest in the community.
Well, that's what we have tried to do by bringing more young
But
people
what
into
do
City
you
Hall.
plan to do? What do you plan to do to make sure that we're doing that moving forward?
To make sure what?
Make sure that we start doing that moving forward. What steps did you plan to take? What can you commit to?
You want to talk, Pat? Go ahead.
No, I want you to talk.
Well, I hear you, but I have brought Pat in to make sure she's.
I talk to Miss Pat all the time.
I understand.
She's down there.
I'll talk after she's done.
So how you doing, Cam?
How you doing, Miss Pat?
So Cam, you are actually interning with JSEB, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're in the schools making a big impact with apprenticeship and making sure youth have a voice, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And also you wrote a book and you're in the schools talking to middle schools, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You were also part of the YES program when the young people put on a summit and had 150 people in the room and it was youth-led, is that correct, Cam?
Yes, ma'am.
Cam, you already know. You know about the Mayor's Youth at Work program, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you volunteer and you work with a lot of them. Is that correct, Cam?
Yes, ma'am.
You already know what the mayor doing. So what we want to do, and I totally understand what you're saying, is that young people, they don't want to just be at the table. They want to help build the table and be architects of the table. I spoke about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are developing programs where young people can be at the table, but where are they in the room?
Right.
So that is what we need. We need for more young people to participate. So I'm challenging you. How do you get more young people to participate?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So you sort of reeled me in there a little bit. So you're
I
already
didn't mean to.
you're already very involved. But the reason that I brought Pat up is because Pat is in the position she's in specifically to build that infrastructure for young people to be connected to City Hall. And so look, you're not elected to office, but if you're there and you're participating in these programs, then you are part of the discussion. And then Pat shares that with us, and you share that with us. That's how you get involved. You're doing all the things right now. I'm not sure if you have more ideas of what we should be doing that we're not doing. I mean, I would love for you when you're able to run for office. I think that'd be awesome where you're actually sitting there making the decisions. That'd be great because we need more young people that are representing the city. Ultimately, it is the people who are elected to office that end up making the decisions, right?
Right.
So as Pat pointed out, your job is to make sure your voice gets heard.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why you got to be at the in the rooms and doing what you're doing, but you're already doing all the things. So
I don't want to make this not about me though.
no,
It's about
I
my
hear
peers.
you. But we need historically. That's why I was so excited when you came to the microphone. Historically, people your age generally don't spend a lot of time in the political arena, in government, in civic life, because either they're too busy doing other things, and I get it because I was 18 once myself, or they just don't believe that it's ever going to work for them. And the only reason it ever will is if they do what you're doing. So we just need more young people involved in these programs. These didn't even exist before Pat got here. A lot of these programs. So that's what some of them did, but not all of them. And so I guess what I'm saying is if you have an idea of things that we could do to bring more voices into that room, please share those things. We're doing everything that we know to do at this point.
I look forward to connecting with you and your assistant to set up a meeting to share those ideas.
Well, do that. We would love that. We would love that. Man, that was a nice way to end. Okay, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you very, very much. And we'll do this again soon. But if you have any specific, these groups that we talked to tonight, anybody that has specific budget suggestions as we are putting the budget together, please make sure you see somebody on my staff so we can get those suggestions from you and develop a meeting with these groups. Thank you.